Before we get started, do me a favor and smash that like button. I'd appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, February 23rd, 2022, and this is the fifth episode chatting with LT Flying. He's out in Tucson, Arizona, I do believe. So, good morning, LT.
Hey, good morning, Teddy. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Looks like it's going to be a nice day out there.
Well, I can't quite tell because the sun's not even started to come up yet. It's really dark. But the weather app says it's going to be a beautiful day, so I'm going to take that.
Oh, cool. Well, I appreciate you being up before the sun rises for us to do take two.
Yeah. Well, that happens. So, technical difficulties, and we adapt and overcome. We'll manage to get her done. So, I was looking at the comments from this past week and making a few notes as what's going on and what people are asking. Of course, this last week was all the buzz about the Wounded Warrior NFTs over on Open Theta, and that is now closed. So we that window of time to get an NFT has passed. I'm going to update my Open Theta screen here right quick and see what they show over here.
Yeah, I looked at it this morning and didn't see any of them. So the secondary market has not kicked in yet.
This says completed and not available yet. Okay, let's see. They have been pulled from the site, and I don't see any, like you say, I don't see any that are for sale as yet on the secondary market. So we'll see. That'll be the next interesting thing to watch as these NFTs come back on the market. I'm assuming that most people bought these NFTs to use in their own wallets and in their own staking pool. So, I would think that putting them out there for sale, you'd had to bought some on speculation. I know the ones I bought several, one for each of my children, a couple for myself because I expect this to grow and go, but I think I'm going to need them. And I thought it was a great program they put together. It was a good cause, supporting the Wounded Warriors and supporting that organization. And so I'm glad that they did that. It shows community effort from the G Pool team. So I thought that was a good idea, and it helps to kickstart the market a little bit. It helps to get people talking about what are NFTs, how do they work, and how can we apply this to our staking. So and how they're going to work in 6 months and then in a year whenever we start minting these from our own wallets. So I think that's a good thing that they did. So there were several questions that I kind of keyed on that I'd seen several times throughout the week, and one of these questions was asked by T. T was curious about T drop, and so he asked, do staking T drop rewards compound? And the answer to that is yes. When you're over on the Theta, in the Theta wallet, and just staking, back to Theta, and they will compound automatically within the wallet there. I went and looked, and it seemed that on the T-Drop Volt liquidity pool, the payout over there is going to be about 25%, where staking within the Theta wallet pays about 50%, and it's compounded automatically. So I'm just leaving my T-Drop in my wallet and staked to the staking activity on within the Theta wallet. So Now Good had asked that question. Another question I thought was very relevant and should be asked by everyone, just to know that the project itself is a legit project, and that is Philip Cartier asked, has Tcash been audited? And so the short answer is yes. Tcash itself is a fork of the Ampleforth project, and they came out with that in 2018. I think launched it 2019, which is the same time that DGuard at Gpool started. They went ahead and forked that Ampleforth. That Ampleforth had been audited and has very strong backing behind it. And so DGuard forked the Ampleforth project, and then they've also they've been working this project since 2019, actually running tests and been audited as well. So I feel very comfortable with the team itself. They have a strong backing within the community, and that they were one of the first, if not the first, group to start doing staking, or helping people with staking to delegators or to elite edge nodes, to make things. I know whenever I first started staking my Theta, I staked it through the Gpool teams, staking delegators.
Yeah, I did too.
Process. It worked very well, and if you look at their website at gpool.io, you can see how many or how much. Let me see if I can get over there. You can see how much they have staked on their total. They're at over $990 million staked on Gpool between the Theta, T Fuel, Persistence, and of course T-Bill. So you can also, on that same, if you go down to the bottom of that page, you can see all the social medias that they're involved in. And for better or worse, these social medias are platforms that if a company or organization is not acting appropriately, you'll see it. It'll show up on social media, and I'm just not seeing anything negative or disparaging about the Gpool team. So that in itself helps me have a little more confidence about the Gpool team and what they're doing.
Yeah,
that they are indeed.
As a matter of fact, Alien brought out a good point when he was talking about things that you might consider getting into, and he said basically, if the developers behind it are known entities, they have a public face to them. He said, right there, it's a lot safer because everybody knows who they are. He said, if the developers of a project are hiding in the shadows to where you don't know who they are, big red flag.
Big red flags, that's right. So I don't see, DGuard's out there on Discord answering questions directly quite frequently. Somebody posted the other day, it seems like this Discord is a 24/7 AMA, and pretty much it is between Kripfelt and who's the COO, and DGuard, who's the CEO of Gpool. They're both on Discord answering questions. So I don't know. They're not hiding that I can tell.
No, and matter of fact, I've had over 3 hours of live conversation with DGuard, and due to my visual disability, he made an offer unsolicited that if I wanted to help with setting up a G-Twin, that he would actually fly down here and handle that for me. And that's not the sign of somebody that's crooked. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Trying to hide.
no, he's not trying to hide, and he's, you know, his mind from talking to him, his mindset is basically everything he does, every decision he makes is, will this be good for the Theta project? Will it help to move the project ahead? And that's a good way to be thinking, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's in even in the with T-bill itself, as you mentioned the other day, T-bill's value or price right now is being derived from T-fuel, and so he understands that the Theta network and its success is going to be a big part about if the T-bill staking pool is going to be successful. Now, I believe video is going to be around, and the bandwidth's getting chewed up more and more, and so a project like Theta, who now has 6 patents and has the ability to get this done, and we'll talk about it here in a minute, but they're developing and putting out more and more tools for different individuals to use to build the applications and things that we're going to need for this to work. So it's slow, seems slow anyway, but it's moving forward, and that's what we want to see. So.
Yes, the fact that the Theta team is concentrating on developing the tools that will enable other developers to develop things on the Theta network, that's good, because doing that is kind of a force multiplier, if you will. They're not keeping the development all to themselves. They are developing the necessary tools to enable others to jump on board and create things for the Theta community. So that's a good way of thinking. And I see people complaining about the price. Somebody put a comment into this morning's video that said, is this shitcoin ever going to go up in price? And they need to realize the Theta team is not making decisions based on the price. They're making decisions long term and leaving the price to do what it will. And people need to understand that we are so early in the process that they shouldn't be worrying about the price right now. The only thing they should be doing is, if they believe in the project overall, is taking advantage of the fact that the price is so low and loading up. They can be over there in the LP and making good money, by putting T-fuel into it. That the price of the underlying tokens is really not a factor, or it shouldn't be. I'm not worried about the price.
I'm looking at the project as a whole and where it's going to go over time. And, I'm not trying to earn a living out of this. I'm trying to take a amount of money that I have for investment that I set back for. This is really speculative. So, you want things that are speculative, you put a little less in, but it could pay out in a big way if things go as projected. So that's what I'm doing, investing, putting it in and leaving it there. This is not going to be a short-term play. I know that it's going to be a matter of years, and it could be 1 year or 2 years or 3 years before we start seeing real adoption, which we're seeing more and more. I mean, it's almost daily where you see something new come out that a new hotel, for example, a week ago Vegas, is going to start using the Theta blockchain. We can see different artists that are coming over to put their NFTs on the Theta blockchain. It's just more and more slowly getting going, but I would rather have that than a flash in the pan, or something goes shooting up and then crashing back down. So personally, that's what I'm more interested in seeing. So
Yeah, absolutely. Resorts World is the name of the hotel, and
yeah,
they're going to be issuing collectible NFTs on the Theta network that those who hold those will get special benefits, free nights at the hotel, resort, and things like that if they have one of
right.
those
And
NFTs.
right, and as I recall, is also going to have some utility NFTs, which this NFT put out by the G Pool team for the Wounded Warrior project is a utility NFT.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it has function, not just look pretty.
yeah.
So
Speaking of
and I
that,
like that.
you mentioned about an announcement on Discord, I think, regarding the NFTs, how they will apply not just to the T Fuel T Bill pair, but also to other pairs
Right.
in the future. So maybe you can touch on that.
Yes, in the Discord, a question was asked directly of the G Pool team. Will this NFT apply to other um, liquidity pools? If you set up another liquidity pool, which is in the plans and it's in the white paper, they planned on launching the USDC T-bill liquidity pool at the same time. There was some technical difficulty because the way that coin works is a little different. But so they're working that out. And so anyway, the question was, will this one NFT, if I bought one, would it work on the T-Fuel T-bill in a liquidity pool as well as the other one? And the answer was yes. So then there was clarification needed. Well, if it's a capacity of say 100,000 T-bill, and I have 100,000 T-bill in my T-Fuel liquidity pool, then will it have value over in the other one? And the answer was yes. That 100,000 is good in both pools. So you effectively have an NFT that has the ability to be 200,000 of capacity, because it's going to cover up to 100,000 T-bill of each pool at the same time. So that's
Awesome.
pretty amazing right there.
That
Yeah.
makes the value even more of one of those NFTs.
Oh yeah. It's yeah. I'm going to hear some. Stop that. Okay. Try to get some other comments up here.
So to clarify, another way to look at it is if you've got one of those Wounded Warrior with a capacity of 100,000, and you've got 100,000 T-bill in the T-Fuel T-bill pair, and then you put 100,000 into the USDC T-bill pair when it becomes available. It's like having, it's independent of any other pairs that you have. If you 2x multiplier, whatever the capacity of it is, it doesn't care that you've already used that full capacity in one pair. It's like having, independent in the other pair. So you're getting dual use out of that one NFT.
Correct. Yeah, to me, that's just mind blowing. And again, the other thing I see in this G Pool and what they're doing is they really want to reward their stakers, people that are staking to providing liquidity, I should say, to the LP. That providing this liquidity to the LP is what's going to allow the G-Pool team to grow and build out on the other projects they're working on, such as the wallet, the GTX wallet, or the metaverse and the G-Twins and whatever else they come up with, which is most numerable. So back to the questions here a little bit. We had one individual, Bifford's having trouble with his MetaMask, and he's and getting things to work exactly. I'm not a MetaMask expert or aficionado. I really have very limited knowledge about how it works, but I have been going through the articles that you can read in the G-Pool team. Kripfelt has written several articles and put out there with step-by-step instructions about how to set up your MetaMask, how to configure it, link it to your staking page, and then how to even set up a hardware wallet with the MetaMask to give you a two-factor or two-step process for logging into that wallet to make it more secure, which is an important thing as well, especially as the project goes on, the value of these tokens grow, and the amount of income you have in that token as it grows, you want to protect that. So I would encourage everybody to go look at medium.com and just if you just do a search on medium.com, it'll bring up all if you just put in Kripfelt, that's CRYPTFELT, Kripfelt, and MetaMask in there, it'll bring those right up. And they have numerous articles that cover MetaMask. If you're using a ledger, then they have articles covered MetaMask with Ledger, and if you're using a Trezor, they have articles that cover MetaMask with Trezor. Good graphics with how to set it up, how to configure it, and so on. So really take your time, set it up right, because it can be very frustrating to have some little something not properly configured, and it's just not going to work for you. So I've tried to help Biff as best I could. I'm sorry I couldn't fix his problem or help him. I can't fix anything. Help him fix his problem right away. But there was and you'd mentioned it's important to be careful about who you take advice from within the comments, because there are scammers out there in the comments. So if anybody's saying, hey, come over here, send me your wallet address or anything like that, we need to see your C phrases to be able to help you. Definitely get away from that. Do not provide any of that information to anybody that's a commenter trying to help you.
The only thing that you should give anybody that is offering to try and help you is the public address of your wallet. That's the only piece of information that they should be asking you for, because with the public address, they can pull up your wallet on the blockchain and look at it and see what has come in and what's going out and the balances and all that. But they cannot actually do anything, as far as taking your stuff. But if they convince you to give out your private key or your seed words or any of that stuff, then they're trying to rip you off, guaranteed. Don't trust anybody. If somebody says they're Teddy B, and I've seen people trying to, act as though they're Teddy B. They even put my profile picture up there, and they're good. They try and convince you that it's Teddy B. Well, number one, I'm never going to ask you for seed words or private keys. So, if they ask you for that, huge red flag right there. Don't give it to them.
Right.
Don't be a victim.
Right. That's right. It's and we have a lot of new people into crypto each and every day. So it's people need to learn, and unfortunately, sometimes we learn best by making mistakes.
Yep, and unfortunately, it can be very costly.
Right. Right. We had a question. Trying to find it now. I had deleted the besides the comments and questions that you've been getting on your channel. I've been trying to watch and see about new things that are happening, that are coming out, and of course Theta has announced the Theta Edge Store, and the Theta Edge Store, they put it out as an alpha preview release, so they're putting this Theta Edge Store information out so that developers or other people that are going to start building out apps can go out there and start getting the tools they need to put these apps together. And this Theta Edge Store seems to be pretty comprehensive and goes right along track with what the Theta team has been working on for quite some time. So they're going to have permanent storage of digital assets, of course, such as NFTs or images or videos. So that's something you're going to be able to do, which is what we've been waiting on. So this is one of the things that is right in your wheelhouse. Data availability service for layer 2 scaling solutions or roll-ups. Don't really know what all that means, but there are some people out there that do, and they're gonna jump on that and put that to work. Decentralized content delivery network for video and music and other things such as game patches or software updates, etc. So that will be easier to get to and use. And of course, the content delivery network is what we've been they've been saying all along, peer-to-peer delivery system. So this is a part of that. Storage backend for general Web3 apps, such as blogging sites, chat apps, decentralized app stores, decentralized GitHubs, repositories. That's something we've seen, particularly here lately, where because of our centralized way of doing things, such as some video delivery or other chatting apps, not to mention any particularly, where they're centralized and people are being censored, taken down, shadow banned, all these types of things. With decentralized content delivery network for video, music, game patches, and so on, it's decentralized. It won't be able to be taken down or banned or shadow banned. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Storage for the metaverse digital assets. That's the big thing coming in the metaverse is you're going to be able to buy digitally land or put up billboards or have different storefronts or these kinds of things. And of course, all that has to be built, but then once it's built, it has to be stored or kept somewhere. So they're planning for that. Storage for training data sets and AI algorithms. And I thought this was interesting, such as autonomous driving and protein folding, etc. Well, autonomous driving is something that companies are pushing for, to utilize autonomous driving vehicles for delivery of products or services. So that's it's coming, and this particular edge store is going to put out the information that's needed for developers to make use of the Theta network and creating these autonomous drivers, so driverless vehicles.
So you'll be able to call for an Uber, and an Uber vehicle will show up, and there won't be any driver in it.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I was at a Tesla store some time ago, a couple of years ago, and I was talking to the salesperson, and he said, and we were talking about this ability for the car to drive itself, basically, and how they're all hooked together and information's passed from one vehicle to another. It's quite interesting, really. But the other thing he brought out, he said, your car's going to be making money while you're at work. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, you'll drive your car to work, and then you'll get out and you'll put it in a mode so that it gets a call. So it then goes and picks somebody else up and takes them to work, or goes get food or whatever, and then takes that somewhere. So your car is going to be out there doing jobs while you're working, is the picture he was trying to paint. Now we'll see if that happens or not, but that blew my mind whenever I heard him talking about that.
Oh yeah, I think that the thing with autonomous vehicles driving themselves on our roads, the problem that we currently have is the technology to drive is there, but the technology to guess what the human drivers around it are going to do is lacking. And so I think that for us to get to a point where fully autonomous vehicles are the new thing, it's going to require that human beings be taken out of the calculation, and only autonomous vehicles are allowed to be on the road, because they can communicate with each other and they don't have to worry about what that human driver is going to do or not do. So I think that that's the next step, is that you're going to see cities that are going to literally, they're just going to say, you can't drive a vehicle yourself on the roads in the city, So
well, that's quite possibly. I'm hoping that's a long ways down the road, because I like driving. So.
Well, yeah, and everybody does, but let's face it, if you want to go into a city, and like I say, those autonomous vehicles, they can't predict what you're going to do. Maybe you hadn't had your cup of coffee yet, and so you're not at the top of your game. Well, you make a mistake, there's no way for those autonomous vehicles to, guess what you're going to do. So, from a safety standpoint, that's really the only way it's going to be, is you want to be in that particular city. You have got to be willing to relinquish your right to drive your own vehicle. I mean, when I go to someplace like Atlanta, and of course I can't do it now because of my vision, but when I was still driving, if I wanted to go into a city like Atlanta, I would get a hotel somewhere on the outskirts of the city, and I would park my car at the hotel, and if I wanted to go into, say, downtown or underground Atlanta as an example, I would take the subway system. And you can do everything in those big cities using the public transportation, so you don't have to be driving.
Right. So that's coming. That is part of the solution for the autonomous driving and other such things. So it's a part of what our new world is going to hold. So
Skynet rising.
well, I was just thinking about iRobot, the Will Smith movie from years ago. It
Yeah.
had a couple scenes in there with autonomous driving vehicles, and whenever he took over to drive himself, it was quite. You're going to do what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so another new development, and this is, of course, Theta's building the tools, but it takes other teams such as Gpool, or here's Theta board folks that are building out different applications or different things that you can do with the tools that are being put out there from Theta. So Theta board is expanding their abilities, and they have come out with a domain name service. So you're going to be able to buy a Theta name, and they call it TNS, Theta Name Service. So you can enter a domain name. It can be a business name, a funny name, a personal name, whatever you want to buy. You can enter that with .theta, and it will then link your wallet address to that name, so that as time goes on, more and more people are going to have instead of giving out their wallet address, they'll just give their name that they want something, payment to go to. So I find that very interesting. It's going to do a lot of things. You could speak to as what a developer knows about the internet, how it works, and what domain names do a lot better than I can. So I'll let you take it away.
Well, basically, everybody thinks that the internet works on domain names, and it does in some respect, but when you type in Amazon.com into your browser, the browser actually goes to what's called a domain name service, and it converts the domain name Amazon.com into an IP address, and that's actually what the internet works on, is the IP address. But the whole idea of the domain name came up because it's a lot easier for someone to remember Amazon.com than it is to remember 213.37. Nobody's going to remember that cryptic IP address, but they do easily remember Amazon.com. And so what you're describing that the Theta board is coming out with is, if I wanted to send some Theta to ltflying.theta, it will convert that into your wallet address. I don't have to know what your wallet address is, because that's a 32 character, very cryptic looking thing, and nobody's going to be able to recite that or remember it, but it's easy for them to remember ltflying.theta. So I could just say, I want to send some Theta to ltflying.theta, and it'll get to you, because that name is going to be converted into the actual wallet address, transparent to anybody else. And so that's a good thing.
It is, and I can see application for it. Being able to easily communicate, your wallet address to somebody by just giving them your name.theta. It being easy to, when you're in MetaMask or in these other wallets, if it has your name up there, or the name that you want to be working with, the wallet that you want to be working with at the time, it's easy to look up there and say, oh yeah, that's the right wallet. Where if it's a 32 character address, most memorizing all those characters, or at least part of them, it's easy to confuse. So I think it's going to be a great help as time goes on, and it kind of shows how early we are in all of this. We don't think anything about IP address. What is that? Well, Amazon.com or whatever. That could also be some potential opportunity here to, make a few investments, pick up some names that other organizations might want to buy from you later. So,
Yep. Well,
could be a little speculation going on.
Back, there was an AMA, I don't know, 6 months ago, I guess, where somebody asked Mitch Liu, where we are in the development process, and he said, we're not even at 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. He said, we are like the internet back in 1995. And, right. you and I, being old farts, can remember what the internet was like in 1995. It was nothing like
saying,
it. Yeah.
Right. People were saying, you're going to be able to do what? Why would I want to do that? Oh, it's so slow. I mean, they had so many negative things to say about the internet. I remember talking with an investment advisor, and I was in the mid 90s, and I asked him about, hey, what's about this internet thing? Oh, no, that's nothing but a catalog online. So, people aren't going to do that. They're going to go to the store to buy things. And now we get most everything, delivered right to your door. So.
Oh yeah, I remember a segment on Good Morning America where Katie Couric was, talking to whoever her
right.
co-host was, and they were talking about, so what's this email thing? What's that all about? I don't even know how to, it's like, as old as you and I both are, to look back and go, yeah, I remember when, you still had to use snail mail, this email. I actually remember back in the day when there was these things called BBSs, the bulletin board systems is what that stood for. And the precursor to what we now know as email was something called FidoNet. And basically what it did was you'd log on to that bulletin board system, and you had to know the FidoNet address of, say, somebody across the country. And then you'd type in your email, and it would literally relay from one BBS to another across the country until it finally showed up in the mailbox of the recipient on the other side of the country. But, back then it could take 24 hours for it to get there. Now, I type in email to you, you're sitting out there, 3,000 miles away from me, and it's there in seconds. So,
right.
we are so far from the way the internet was back in 1995, and people just need to realize the Theta project is that early. We've got a ways to go. But they're making progress.
I keep saying that. I wish I'd bought shares of Apple Computer or Microsoft or Oracle, many of these other things back in the mid '90s. It's like, gosh, if you just got into it and just forgot about it, go back to work, do what you do, but just get into these things and let them sit there and grow. It could be a very lucrative thing years down the road. So.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing I'd like to do is point people to a particular website. I sent it to you, so I think you can post it, pin it to the comments here, so they can easily go get that comment and get this web address. But individuals put together a very nice kind of everything you need to know or want to know about T-bill, all in one spot, easily all linked, so you can go and if you know something about T-bill or Theta Cash, where it comes from, who's on the team, you can go see that. NFT multipliers, how they work, the Wounded Warrior Project. It's all here on one site, and he's going to be updating it as new things happen, he's going to start adding your videos actually to the site, because he's expressed interest in doing that because he thinks you're putting out some good info. So he's trying to help everybody know or understand. But
so that maniac Teddy B is going to be on his website?
Yep. At some point, I just updated looking at it right now. He doesn't have it posted just yet, but he did ask to post your videos, so that's something that he said he's going to do. But I've been over through the website several times. He's asked actually the G pool team to look at it, and they've given it the thumbs up. So that's a great thing. He's got the backing of the G pool team.
Yeah, good resource.
So that's the other thing I love about this. Yeah, it's a good resource. Said I sent that to you. If you'll pin it to the comments, then people will be able to go and pull that down and have a resource to
yeah. I did get that video, and I did click on the link that you gave me, and you know, with my limited vision, it looked like a pretty comprehensive website. So you know, I will put that you know, in a comment that I will pin to the top of the comments on this video.
Great. So that's what I've found so far, and unless you have something else we want to discuss, I think that's what I've got for this week.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and close this out. Last thing I want to say is that when it comes to questions in the comment section, if it's not something that can be answered in just, you know, a simple one-line answer kind of thing, we will address the questions that people have in a video like this one, because it's just a more efficient way to cover the questions that come up. So if you put a comment into the comment section, you know, probably within a few days or a week at most, there will be an answer to your question in one of these videos. So I want to thank you, LT, for sharing your time again. And
Well,
you know, we'll do this as often as time permits. I know you have a lot of other things on your plate that you have to take care of, such as flying some rich dude around the country, and so obviously that comes first, and you know, the producing videos such as this will happen you know, when you've got downtime. So
well, I'm very fortunate to have a little time right now, and glad to be able to do this. So it's I think a good thing to help other folks, and this is one way I can be of service. So here we are.
all right, well, thank you very much. Well, that's a wrap for this presentation, so cue the music. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that thumbs up for me, and I'll see you in the next video.